Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Yeshichanza. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Monday, the 13th of September. India-US launch climate action and finance mobilization dialogue. Taliban breaking promises, including over women, says UN. And Baloch activists in Germany hold protest against fake encounters by Pakistan. And now for all the details. US Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry, along with India's Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav, launched the Climate Action and Finance Mobilization Dialogue in New Delhi on Monday. Speaking during the event, Kerry called for immediate action on short-term global emission reductions to meet the challenge of climate crisis.
US Special Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry on Monday called for immediate action on short-term global emission reductions as he launched the Climate Action Finance Mobilization Dialogue in New Delhi, along with India's Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav. Addressing the event, Kerry also called India's target to achieve 450 gigawatt renewable energy target by 2030 as ambitious, and said US is confident about it and looks forward to partnering with India in order to bring finance and technology and other elements to the table in order to achieve it.
To keep 1.5 degrees warming limit in reach and avoid even more catastrophic consequences of this crisis, we must take action now. We have to take action on short-term global emission reductions because that's the way we're going to actually meet the challenge of the climate crisis. And we have to reach a net zero global standard by 2050.
Earlier in the day, John Kerry also met India's Power and Renewable Energy Minister R.K. Singh and discussed various issues related to climate change and energy transition. His visit aims to lay groundwork for the US participation in the 26th UN Climate Change Conference of the Parties, which will be held in Glasgow from October 31 to November 12. He also travelled last week to Japan and China for talks with officials.
Heavy rains continue to disrupt normal life in several parts of Western India on Monday. Incessant rains for the past 28 hours caused a flood-like situation in Rajkot district of western Gujarat state, inundating several low-lying residential areas and causing difficulties for locals. In view of the situation, authorities issued an alert and ordered all schools and colleges to shut. Meanwhile, the Godavari river was in spate in Nashik in western Maharashtra state. The water level at Gangapur Dam on the river reached to its 97% capacity, forcing authorities to discharge water, which submerged several temples in the holy town. Excessive monsoon rains this year have affected many parts of India, throwing normal life out of gear as civic administrations often fail to cope with challenges posed by them.
नासिक महानगर पालिका ने यहाँ पे थोड़ी व्यवस्था करनी चाहिए, पब्लिक को अलर्ट करना चाहिए था कि यहाँ पानी बढ़ रहा है, जहाँ से वहाँ रोकना चाहिए. आने के बाद यहाँ दिक्कत हो रही है, पानी बढ़ रहा है, पानी में क्या काम करेंगे.
In news from Afghanistan, it has been nearly 1 month since the Taliban's takeover of the capital city Kabul on August 15. With this, all trade and import of raw materials inside Afghanistan has stopped completely. The price of basic commodities has increased. There is a lack of jobs available, forcing Kabul residents to sell household items. Afghans now hope that the interim government can focus on economic development.
Cash-strapped Kabul residents were seen selling household items like bedding, furniture and cooking appliances at markets on Sunday. Some residents said they were doing so in order not to starve because there were no jobs available. With the Taliban taking control of Afghanistan, all trade and import of raw materials inside the country has stopped completely. As a result, the price of basic commodities has increased and there is a lack of jobs available.
فروش چون خانه کاربار نیستم مال ما سودا میکنم به خاطر که نیست کاربار نیست دیگه به خاطر کاربار مال ما سودا کردیم تبایش ما چی رو بخورم دیگه کاربار از دولت اسلامی میخوایم برای ما کار هم چون ما کاربار نداریم امروزی را فروختیم سبا چی رو بفروشیم دیگه کدام
The United Nations has also warned that the freezing overseas of some $10 billion in Afghan assets to keep it out of Taliban hands would cause a severe economic downturn and could push millions more Afghans into poverty and hunger. Meanwhile, a colony of tents are occupying the dust parks in Afghan capital, home to a countless number of families who fled the Taliban when they rolled into their villages last month. Tens of thousands fled the country as the deadline for the withdrawal of US troops drew near, but the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, estimates 500,000 people have been displaced internally in recent months and has warned that the number could grow if health services, schools and the economy break down.
بسیار زیاد خواهش میکنم از دولت امارات اسلامی و این مردم رسیدگی شود کلگی مردم بیچاره شده بس از ما از این جنگ خسته شدیم تقریبا 40 سال از جنگ است چی که نمیقدر جنگ ما یک دولت خواهان هستیم که اسلامی باشه امن باشه آرامی باشه.
Even before the Taliban launched its final push to seize control, 3 million Afghans were already displaced in a country struggling with drought and the COVID-19 pandemic.
The United Nations Human Rights Chief on Monday criticized the Taliban's record since seizing power in Afghanistan, saying stated commitments did not match realities on the ground, such as the status of women. Meanwhile, women in Afghanistan will be allowed to study in universities, but gender segregation and Islamic dress code will be mandatory, Afghanistan's new higher education minister has said.
The United Nations Human Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet on Monday told the Human Rights Council in Geneva that Afghanistan was in a new and perilous phase, with many women and members of ethnic groups and religious communities deeply concerned for their rights. She criticized the Taliban's records in seizing power in Afghanistan, saying its stated commitments did not match realities on the ground, such as the status of women. Bachelet expressed dismay at the composition of the Taliban's new government, noting the absence of women and its dominance by ethnic Pashtun.
Importantly, and in contradiction to assurances that the Taliban would uphold women's rights over the past few weeks, women have instead been progressively excluded from the public sphere. In many areas, they are prohibited from appearing in public spaces without a male chaperone. In numerous professional sectors, women face increasing restrictions. Taliban representatives have limited girls' access to education, with girls over 12 prohibited from attending schools in several locations.
Earlier, Afghanistan's new higher education minister, Maulvi Abdul Baqi Haqqani, at a news conference in Kabul on Sunday said that women in Afghanistan will be allowed to study in universities. However, there will be set rules. Classes will be gender segregated and strict Islamic dress must be worn. Women's education has been one of the central questions facing the Taliban as they seek to persuade the world that they have changed since their harsh fundamentalist rule in 1990. Earlier in the month, students started returning to university classrooms after the Taliban stormed to power, and in some cases, females have been separated from their peers by curtains.
Moving on, scores of Baloch activists staged a protest rally in Germany this past weekend against the fake encounters by Pakistani forces in Balochistan. They highlighted several innocent Baloch people have been targets of so-called counter-terrorism operations by Pakistan and killed after being forcibly disappeared.
Scores of activists from the Free Balochistan movement held a protest rally in Germany's Hanover city this past weekend against the fake encounters by Pakistani forces in Balochistan. The protesters blamed that Pakistan has continued to pursue its infamous kill and dump policy, and its counter-terrorism department or CTD has been forcibly disappearing innocent Baloch people before killing them in staged encounters in the name of counter-terrorism operations. They urged the international community to intervene immediately to stop what they termed as Baloch genocide.
Only in August 2021, CTD itself claimed killing of 20 individuals in 2 different incidents. No evidence of the target individuals being involved in any kind of violence or firefight have been provided by the CTD.
We are neither tired of raising our voice, nor we are hopeless. But UNO and other powering bodies should now accept their ignorance towards us and should act before it's too late.
Activists have long accused that Pakistani army and spy agencies have been carrying so-called military operations in the region with an aim to eliminate the Baloch people. They blame thousands have been internally displaced because of army operations over the years.
Hilsa is the national fish of Bangladesh and is known for its incomparable taste. The ongoing peak fishing season is currently underway, and fishermen in Bangladesh's Chandpur district, where the world's most famous silvery transboundary Hilsa fish comes from, are happy because of bumper harvest. Fishermen in Bangladesh's Chandpur district, where the world's most famous silvery transboundary Hilsa fish comes from, are happy because of a good harvest and high prices. Huge catches of Hilsas, Bangladesh's national fish, are being netted in marine and coastal areas across the country, especially in Chandpur, some 150 kilometers southeast of Dhaka, during the ongoing peak fishing season. Chandpur is considered one of the biggest trading hubs of Hilsas in Bangladesh, mainly due to the skyrocketing popularity of Hilsas from Patma River. Wholesalers in the market said they are very happy with the bountiful harvest, which fetched them some extra money. Hilsa has become the king of fish, and the fish has secured recognition as the geographical indication product of Bangladesh in 2017.
GDP-তে অবদান শতকরা প্রায় 1/2 বেশি এবং প্রায় 5 লক্ষ লোক সরাসরি জীবন জীবিকার জন্য এই ইলিশ সম্পদের সঙ্গে জড়িত এবং 25 থেকে 30 লক্ষ লোক পরোক্ষ প্রত্যক্ষভাবে মিলিয়ে তাদের জীবন জীবিকার জন্য লাইভলিহুডের জন্য এই ইলিশ সম্পদের উপরে তারা নির্ভর।
According to a recent study by the International Fisheries Organization World Fish, Bangladesh currently produces 86% of the world's total Hilsas. The production has also increased remarkably in recent years following the measures including setting up of Hilsa sanctuaries in various rivers. A 5-day all-women's entrepreneurship exhibition in Srinagar, city of India's Jammu and Kashmir, is attracting scores of locals. The event aims to give women a platform to showcase their products and reach out to prospective buyers.
A 5-day-long all-women's entrepreneurship exhibition organized to promote women entrepreneurs in Srinagar, city of India's Jammu and Kashmir, is attracting locals in the valley. Several women entrepreneurs from different fields have set up stalls of a range of products like clothing, cosmetics, art, food and other items during the exhibition, which began on Saturday. The event aims to give women a platform to exchange their ideas and reach out to prospective buyers. The participants expressed that it was a step towards women empowerment and such types of exhibitions should be organized more often.
अभी 19 years old हूँ, अगर मुझे 19 years old में एक अच्छा रिस्पॉन्ड मिलता है एग्जीबिशन से, ऐसा हो सकता है कि कल को 2 साल 3 साल के बाद मैं अपना रेस्टोरेंट खोल सकती हूँ. दैट मीन्स मुझे जब अच्छा रिस्पॉन्ड मिलता है, जब मुझे एक सपोर्ट मिलता है, वुमेन्स को सपोर्ट होना चाहिए और ऐसी एग्जीबिशंस खासकर लगनी चाहिए, चाहे वो गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से लगे या प्राइवेट की तरफ से.
The event also features musical performances by young artists from the valley. A paradise for nature lovers, Kashmir has centuries-old rich art and culture which is reflected in Kashmiri clothes. Kashmiri kaftans and fairan, the traditional gowns, are particularly attracting a lot of customers at the exhibition.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/AsAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @AsAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.